My name is Diego, and I was there when Hannah's story changed forever. It was a sunny afternoon on April 12, 2022, in the heart of the bustling city park, where she stood resolutely in front of her ex-husband, a man who once filled her world with laughter but had since become a source of heartbreak. As she stood there, her heart raced. She smiled, but I could see the shadows lurking behind her bright facade, a flicker of determination igniting her spirit. The air was thick with the scent of fresh grass, a stark contrast to the tension in the atmosphere, while wind chimes danced softly in the breeze, creating a haunting melody that echoed her inner turmoil. Hannah exuded strength, yet I could sense the tremor in her hands, a silent battle between hope and fear. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that this confrontation would lead to revelations that would shatter her world and reshape her future forever. Just days before, she had received a mysterious letter regarding her ex-husband's will, a document that hinted at secrets long buried and claims that could change everything. As she faced him that day, the words of the will echoed in her mind, mingling with the memories of their past, raising questions that demanded answers. Little did she know, this moment would unravel the threads of their shared history, exposing hidden truths that neither of them was prepared to confront. Hannah woke up to the soft chime of wind chimes dancing in the morning breeze, the sound of familiar comfort in her suburban sanctuary. Sunlight filtered through the kitchen window, illuminating the countertops where the remnants of last night's barbecue still lingered in the air, mixing with the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Today was a Saturday, a day usually filled with laughter and the bustle of family activities. She looked forward to spending time with Mark and their two children, Emma and Jake, perhaps even heading to the park for a picnic later. As she moved through her morning routine, Hannah hummed to herself, a melody of contentment filling the spaces around her. She was in her element, flipping pancakes with a practiced hand, each one golden and fluffy. The warmth of family life enveloped her like a cozy blanket, and she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life she had built with Mark. They had been together for over a decade, sharing dreams, struggles, and countless memories. She thought she knew everything about him, his hopes, his fears, and even the little quirks that made him who he was. "Mom, can I help?" Emma's voice broke through her thoughts, bright and eager. Hannah turned to see her daughter's wide eyes sparkling with excitement. "Of course, sweetheart, you can be my official pancake flipper today." Hannah smiled, her heart swelling with love for her children. As they cooked together, the kitchen filled with laughter and the sweet smell of maple syrup. But there was an undercurrent of something unspoken, a feeling that today might be different. After breakfast, Mark took the kids out to play in the backyard, leaving Hannah to tidy up. It was then that the doorbell rang, its sudden sound slicing through her peaceful morning. When she opened the door, a neatly dressed man stood there, a somber expression on his face. He introduced himself as a lawyer from Mark's firm. Hannah's heart sank. Her instincts told her something was wrong. "Mrs. Anderson, I'm here to discuss your husband's will," he said, his tone professional, yet tinged with something more. Sympathy, perhaps? "Will? I didn't know Mark had—" She stumbled over her words, confusion sweeping over her like a wave. "What do you mean?" The lawyer handed her an envelope, and as she tore it open, the world around her began to blur. The words on the page jumped out at her, and her heart raced. The will mentioned a property, one she had never heard of before. The letters danced in front of her eyes, and she read the name of the place again, her mind struggling to comprehend. "Oh my God," Hannah whispered, the betrayal tightening around her chest like a vice. She could feel the heat rising to her face, anger mingling with disbelief. "I can't believe this." The lawyer continued explaining the details, but his words faded into a dull roar. The mention of the property, a secluded cabin in the woods, felt like a dagger to her heart. Why hadn't Mark ever mentioned it? Had he been keeping secrets from her? Cultural reflection. In the kitchen, it hurt like betrayal. "Hannah?" Michael's voice cut through the fog. his concerned gaze searching hers as he stepped into the kitchen. He had come over to check on her, sensing that something wasn't quite right. "Michael, you won't believe what just happened. Mark's will. It mentions a property I never knew existed," she exclaimed, her voice cracking under the weight of her emotions. Michael's brow furrowed as he moved closer. "What property? Do you know where it is?" "It's a cabin somewhere in the woods," she replied, her voice trembling. "I don't understand why he never told me about it. What else didn't I know?" "Hannah, it's going to be okay. We'll figure this out together," he reassured her, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Together?" she echoed, her mind racing. "How can I trust anything now? I thought I knew him, Michael. I thought we had no secrets." Michael frowned, the concern deepening in his eyes. "Sometimes people hide things to protect the ones they love, but you deserve to know the truth." As Hannah sat at the kitchen table, the weight of the letter pressed down on her, the warmth of the day outside now a stark contrast to the chill of her discovery. She felt lost, grappling with the reality that the life she had built might be built on hidden truths. A new fear settled in her heart. What if this property held more than just memories? What if it contained pieces of Mark that she had never known? Just then, a voice from the past echoed in her mind, uninvited yet persistent. Rachel. The name sent a shiver down her spine. Rachel, Mark's first love, had come back into town just a few weeks before Mark's passing. Hannah had brushed it off as a mere coincidence, a fleeting visit that wouldn't affect their lives. But now, the pieces of the puzzle began to shift in her mind, rearranging themselves in a way that made her heart race with uncertainty. "Michael, I need to go see this cabin," she declared, determination rising within her. "I need to know the truth about everything." "Are you sure that's what you want?" he asked, concern lacing his words. "I have to. I can't let this go without answers," she replied, the fire of resolve igniting in her chest. Reflection. That moment in the kitchen changed everything. As she looked out the window, the sun shone brightly, but all she could feel was the darkness creeping into her heart. She knew that the path ahead would be fraught with pain, but she had to uncover the secrets that Mark had hidden away. Only then could she begin to heal from the betrayal that threatened to shatter her world. Hannah gazed out the window. "What a beautiful day," she whispered. Rachel noticed her distant look. "You seem lost in thought." Hannah sat on the porch, the sound of wind chimes dancing in the gentle breeze. She wrapped her hands around a steaming mug of coffee, but the warmth did little to ease the chill settling in her bones. The will had shattered her reality, leaving her grappling with a truth she never saw coming. "Oh my God," she whispered to herself, the words barely escaping her lips. After breakfast, she found herself staring blankly at her phone, the screen illuminating the details of the mysterious property mentioned in Mark's will. A quaint estate tucked away in a rural area, miles from their suburban home, it felt like a cruel joke. Why had he never spoken of it? Driven by a mix of confusion and curiosity, she decided she had to find out more. The local library was a haven of dusty books and whispered secrets, a stark contrast to the chaos swirling in her mind. Hannah walked among the shelves, her fingers brushing against the spines of forgotten stories. She approached the librarian, an elderly woman with sharp eyes that seemed to pierce right through her. "I'm looking for information about a property, an estate that belongs to the Miller family," Hannah said, her voice barely above a whisper. The librarian adjusted her glasses, her expression shifting from curiosity to intrigue. "Ah, the Miller estate. It's been in the family for generations, but there are whispers, dear, scandals that would make your heart sink." Hannah felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What kind of scandals? The librarian leaned in closer, lowering her voice. "There were rumors of betrayal and lost love, a tragedy that drove them away from the town for years. Mark never mentioned it? That's surprising." Hannah's mind raced. How could he have kept such a significant part of his life hidden from her? It felt like a betrayal layered on top of betrayal. Cultural reflection. In the porch, it hurt like heartbreak. She spent the next few hours diving into local history, piecing together fragments of Mark's family legacy. The estate was more than just a property, it was a reminder of a life he never shared. As she read about the family, a name kept surfacing: Rachel. The name echoed in her mind like a haunting melody. Who was this woman that had such a hold on Mark's past? Returning home, Hannah's heart raced as she confronted David, her brother, who had always been skeptical of Mark. "Did you know about the estate, David?" she asked, a hint of accusation in her tone. David looked up from his phone, his expression unreadable. "I heard things, but I didn't think you'd care. Mark was a mystery wrapped in an enigma." "Why didn't you say anything?" Hannah's voice cracked, the betrayal of her brother's silence cutting deeper than she expected. "I didn't want to ruin your perfect little life, Hannah," he replied, crossing his arms defensively. "Perfect? You think my life is perfect?" Hannah felt the weight of his words press down on her. "My heart sank when I found out about that will. I thought I knew him, but I didn't know anything." Just then, her phone buzzed with an unknown number. Hesitant, she answered, her breath hitching as she heard a familiar voice on the other end. "Hannah, it's Rachel. We need to talk." "Rachel?" Hannah felt the color drain from her face. "What do you want?" "I want to explain everything. About the estate, about Mark. Please, just meet me." The call ended, leaving Hannah in a whirlwind of emotions. The thought of facing Rachel, the woman who had once captured Mark's heart, sent chills down her spine. But deep down, she knew she had to confront the truth. Michael arrived shortly after, his presence a comforting balm to her frayed nerves. "You look like you've seen a ghost. What happened?" "Rachel called," Hannah said, trying to keep her voice steady. "She wants to meet." "Are you going to?" Michael asked, concern etched on his face. Hannah nodded, the decision solidifying with each beat of her heart. "I need to know. I can't let this mystery consume me." As they sat on the porch, the smell of rain on the pavement filled the air, a fresh beginning mingling with the turmoil in her heart. "You're doing the right thing," Michael reassured her. "You deserve answers." With each passing moment, Hannah felt the weight of the impending meeting with Rachel. The air thickened with anticipation, her heart racing at the thought of uncovering the secrets that had shadowed her marriage. Reflection. That moment at the porch changed everything. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the confrontation. No matter what lay ahead, she was determined to uncover the truth about Mark and the legacy he had left behind. The past would no longer be a haunting specter. It was time to face it head-on. As the clouds thickened overhead, Hannah glanced at Michael, his brow furrowed in concern. "What if she knows something I don't?" she murmured, the thought gnawing at her insides. Michael reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. "Then you'll find out. You deserve to hear it from her, not just from the shadows of Mark's past." The wind picked up, rustling the leaves of the nearby oak tree, and the chimes sang a soft, eerie melody, heightening the tension that hung between them. The world around her faded as her thoughts spiraled. Memories of Mark flooded her mind, his laughter, the warmth of his embrace, and the way his eyes sparkled when he spoke of dreams they had woven together. Yet beneath those memories lurked a sense of betrayal. How had she missed the signs of this hidden life? "Are you okay?" Michael's voice broke through her reverie, grounding her in the moment. "Not really," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I just feel so lost, like I'm stepping into a world I don't belong to." "You belong to your own truth," he reassured her. "No one can take that away from you." Hannah nodded, taking a deep breath as she let the fresh scent of rain-soaked grass fill her lungs. "I know I need to do this," she said, her voice stronger now. "I have to find out who Rachel is to Mark and what he never told me." The clouds rolled in darker, a storm brewing not just in the sky, but within her heart. What if she tries to manipulate me? What if she's just trying to stir up trouble? Then you'll handle it, Michael replied, his confidence igniting a flicker of strength within her. You're stronger than you think, Hannah. His words hung in the air, mingling with the distant rumble of thunder. Hannah felt the storm brewing inside her, an amalgamation of fear and determination. You're right, I have to face her. I owe it to Mark, and to myself. With that resolve, she stood, brushing the dirt from her jeans. I'll meet her tomorrow. Michael smiled, pride shimmering in his eyes. I'll be here for you, whatever happens. As the first raindrops fell, Hannah felt a sense of clarity wash over her. Tomorrow would bring answers, and she was ready to confront the shadows of the past. Hannah parked her car in front of the sprawling mansion, the wind whipping around her as the sound of wind chimes echoed faintly from somewhere within the dilapidated structure. The estate loomed before her, its once grand facade now tarnished by years of neglect. She stepped out, the rain-soaked pavement releasing a fresh, earthy scent that mingled with the remnants of autumn leaves scattered across the yard. As she approached the front door, her heart pounded with a mix of anticipation and dread. "Oh my God, what have I gotten myself into?" she whispered, clutching the strap of her bag tightly. This place felt alive, echoing with secrets she had never imagined. The air was thick with the weight of unanswered questions, and the thought of Mark's hidden life sent a chill down her spine. She pushed open the creaking door, which reluctantly revealed a dimly lit hallway. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light filtering through the grimy windows. It was like stepping back in time. Each room she entered told a story, fragments of Mark's past hidden in plain sight. Old photographs adorned the walls, showcasing a younger version of her husband with a radiant woman, Rachel, his first love. Hannah's heart sank as she recognized the warmth in those smiles that had always felt distant. "Why didn't you tell me about this?" she murmured to the silence, her voice breaking slightly. The house groaned as she moved through it, her footsteps echoing against the hardwood floors. Preserve the original language of the text, each one a testament to a life that had been obscured from her. In the corner of a dusty living room, she found a weathered box filled with letters, the ink smudged but still legible. They chronicled a deep, tumultuous relationship between Mark and Rachel, revealing depths of emotion that left Hannah feeling like an outsider in her own marriage. What was he hiding? She whispered, the betrayal tasting bitter on her tongue. Eventually, she ascended the creaking staircase, each step echoing her rising anxiety. The attic door was slightly ajar, and her curiosity pulled her inside. Dust swirled around her as she flicked on a light, revealing a hidden room that felt like a time capsule. It was filled with memorabilia of Mark's past, old toys, faded concert tickets, and a journal sitting prominently on a desk. Heart racing, she opened the journal, her fingers trembling. The pages were filled with Mark's handwriting, detailing a childhood marred by struggles she had never known about. "I can't believe this," she gasped as she read entries about loneliness, a fractured family, and the emotional scars that had haunted him. Then her breath caught. One entry stood out, written in a hurried scrawl. "Rachel came back into my life. It felt like a storm. I can't choose between her and the life I've built. I don't want to lose Hannah, but Rachel feels like home." Hannah's heart shattered at that moment. It was as if the ground beneath her had crumbled away. She stumbled back against a stack of boxes, her mind reeling. How could he have felt this way? A whirlwind of emotions swirled within her, each one more painful than the last. "Why would he do this?" she cried out, her voice echoing in the empty room. Just then, she heard a noise from downstairs. Heart racing, she cautiously descended the stairs, each creak sounding like a warning. As she reached the bottom, the front door swung open, revealing Rachel. Looking just as beautiful as the photographs suggested. "Rachel?" Hannah's voice trembled with disbelief. "What are you doing here?" "I came to see the estate," Rachel replied, her voice smooth but laced with tension. "I had no idea you'd be here." Hannah's mind raced. "You're here for the legacy, aren't you? To claim you're part of his life?" Rachel sighed, her expression softening. "It's not like that. I loved Mark, and part of me still does. But I never wanted to come between you two. I need closure." "Closure?" Hannah echoed, incredulous. "You're here to take a piece of him, and you call that closure?" "I can't change the past, Hannah," Rachel said, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I didn't know he was still alive, and I didn't know he was married until I found out about the will." Hannah's heart raced, a rush of conflicting emotions flooding her. "What do you mean you didn't know? You were his first love." Rachel stepped closer, her voice almost pleading. "I thought he'd moved on. I had no idea he had this secret life. I'm here to find the truth too." Cultural reflection, the tension in the air felt palpable, like the first breath after a summer storm. Hannah took a step back, her heart pounding in her chest. "You don't get to just waltz in and play the victim. I was his wife." "I know that," Rachel said, her voice softening, "but you deserve to know everything. He was haunted by his past, and I was part of it. The truth is, he never really let go of either of us." Hannah's mind raced as she processed this new information. She felt a strange connection to Rachel, an unspoken understanding of the pain they both felt. This was more than just a confrontation. It was a reckoning with the love they had both shared with Mark. "I need to know what he was thinking, what he wanted for us," Hannah finally said, her voice steadier. "If we're going to move forward, we need to do it together." Rachel nodded slowly, a flicker of hope in her eyes. "Then let's find out the truth, together." In that moment, a fragile alliance was forged, a bond born out of heartbreak and the desire for clarity. They would navigate the murky waters of Mark's legacy, seeking answers that might finally set them both free. "I can't believe you did this," Hannah exclaimed. Rachel tried to explain, but words failed him. Hannah sank into the worn leather couch in the living room, the faint scent of rain on the pavement seeping through the open window. She held Mark's journal in her hands, the pages yellowed and frayed, and as she flipped through them, her heart sank deeper with every word she read. The sound of birds chirping outside felt distant, almost mocking, as she unraveled the layers of a man she thought she knew completely. Hours slipped by as she lost herself in his confessions. "I can't believe this," she whispered to herself, her voice trembling. Mark had written about feeling suffocated by family expectations, hints of a secret life he led beyond their seemingly perfect marriage. With each entry, it became painfully clear that the facade he had maintained was more intricate than she had ever imagined. Her world was shattering piece by piece, and the weight of betrayal bore down on her like a storm cloud ready to burst. A particular passage struck her hard. "I sometimes wonder if Hannah would forgive me if she knew the truth." The words echoed in her mind, a haunting reminder of the man she had loved and the life they had built together. The warmth of the sun was replaced by a chill that wrapped around her, and she shivered as the realization that she had been living in a lie settled in. Just then, the door creaked open, and David stepped into the room. His expression shifted from casual to concerned as he took in the sight of Hannah hunched over the journal. "Hey sis, you look like you've seen a ghost," he said, feigning a light-hearted tone that didn't quite reach his eyes. Hannah looked up, feeling the weight of his gaze. "It's Mark. He left behind so much more than I ever knew." Her voice broke as she spoke, the pain spilling over. "He had a life outside of ours, David, a secret life." His brow furrowed, and he stepped closer, curiosity mingling with concern. "What are you talking about? What did you find?" "His journal," she replied, gesturing toward the pages that felt like a loaded gun in her hands. "He wrote about feeling trapped, about things he never shared with me. It's like I was living with a stranger." David's expression hardened slightly. "Maybe he just didn't want to hurt you," he suggested, though his voice lacked conviction. Or maybe he was just selfish, Hannah shot back, her frustration boiling to the surface. He kept me in the dark while he lived his life. How can you defend him? Before David could respond, the doorbell rang, slicing through the tension like a knife. Hannah's heart raced as she exchanged a glance with her brother. The last thing she needed was an interruption, but she trudged to the door, compelled by an unseen force. When she opened it, there stood Rachel, a figure from Mark's past who had once held his heart. The sight of her sent a jolt through Hannah, the woman's presence both captivating and infuriating. Rachel's confident smile faltered as she took in Hannah's distressed state. "Oh my God, Hannah, is everything okay?" Rachel asked, her voice laced with genuine concern. "No, it's not okay," Hannah replied sharply, stepping back and crossing her arms defensively. "What are you doing here?" "I came to talk about Mark," Rachel said, her tone shifting from concern to a more assertive demeanor. "I heard about the will and you think you have a right to come here?" Hannah interrupted, her emotions a tempest. "You think you can just waltz back into his life now that he's gone?" Rachel's expression hardened, but she held her ground. "I'm not here to fight, Hannah. I loved Mark. He was my first love, and I deserve to know what's happening with his estate." "Love? You disappeared. You left him," Hannah shot back, every word dripping with pain and anger. "He was my husband, not yours." "I know that, but I have a right to understand my connection to him too," Rachel said, her voice steady. "It's not just about you." The tension in the room thickened, and Hannah felt like she was suffocating. "You have no idea what I'm going through," she hissed, her heart racing. Rachel took a step closer, her eyes locking onto Hannah's with a fierce intensity. "And you have no idea what he was dealing with either. There's so much more to this story." Hannah's breath caught in her throat, the weight of Rachel's words hanging in the air. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Rachel hesitated, then pulled something from her bag, a stack of letters and old photographs, the edges worn and fraying. "He kept these from you, Hannah." They tell a different story. As she sifted through the items, Hannah's heart raced. The letters were filled with words of longing and regret, revealing a connection she never knew existed. The photographs showed a younger Mark, carefree and smiling, alongside Rachel in moments of joy that Hannah had never been a part of. "No, this can't be," Hannah breathed, her mind reeling. She felt her world spinning, the truth unraveling before her eyes. She had always known Mark as the devoted husband, but now, with these tangible remnants of a different life, everything was shifting. "No, this can't be," Hannah breathed, her mind reeling. She felt her world spinning, the truth unraveling before her eyes. She had always known Mark as the devoted husband, but now, with these tangible remnants of a different life, everything was shifting. The realization hit her like a tidal wave. She was not just grieving the loss of Mark, but also the love and trust she thought they had shared. The betrayal cut deeper than she could have anticipated, and the living room that had once felt like a sanctuary now seemed like a cage. "Why didn't he tell me?" Hannah's voice trembled, tears brimming in her eyes. Rachel stepped closer, her expression softening. "Maybe he was afraid of losing you, afraid of what you'd think if you knew the whole truth." Hannah shook her head, the storm inside her still raging. "But I deserve to know. I deserve the truth." With a heavy heart, she realized that the man she had loved might not have been the man she thought he was. The storm of betrayal was just beginning, and she had no idea how deep the secrets ran. Hannah stood on the porch of the sprawling estate, feeling the cool morning breeze play with her hair. The distant sound of traffic floated through the air, a reminder of the bustling world outside her bubble of grief and confusion. She held Mark's journal tightly, the pages worn from her countless readings, each word a reminder of the man she thought she knew. Her heart sank as she thought of the secrets he had hidden, But there was no time for despair. She had a mission now, one that could redefine her future. "Okay, Hannah, time to reclaim your life," she murmured to herself, determination swelling within her. The revelations about Mark had left her reeling, but they also ignited a fire she hadn't felt in years. She could turn this place into something meaningful, something that honored both the man she loved and the community that had supported them. As she envisioned the estate transformed into a vibrant community center, she felt a sense of purpose wash over her. It was a way to create a legacy, to bridge the gap between Mark's hidden past and the life they had built together. With renewed energy, she grabbed her phone and began drafting a message to friends and neighbors, sharing her vision. "Hey everyone, I have an idea that could really bring our community together. I want to turn Mark's estate into a community center. Let's honor his memory and create something beautiful." The replies started rolling in. Excitement bubbled within her as she read the messages of support and encouragement. Michael was the first to respond. "Count me in, Hannah. I'll gather some volunteers." "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," she texted back, her heart racing. The idea was taking flight, and she felt a wave of relief wash over her. This wasn't just about Mark anymore, it was about healing and rebuilding. As the days passed, Hannah organized a small gathering at the estate, inviting her closest friends and neighbors to discuss her vision. They arrived with a mix of curiosity and skepticism, but as Hannah spoke, her passion shone through. She detailed her plans for art classes, community gardens, and wellness workshops. "I want this place to be a hub for connection," she explained, her voice steady and clear. "A place where we can come together, share our stories, and support one another." Rachel, Mark's ex-spouse, unexpectedly showed up at the gathering, her presence sending a shockwave through the room. Hannah's heart raced. It felt like a gust of icy wind had swept in. "Wow, I didn't realize this was happening," Rachel said, her tone light but her eyes sharp. "What a lovely idea, Hannah." Hannah forced a smile, trying to mask her discomfort. "Thanks, Rachel. I think it could really help the community." Rachel stepped closer, her confidence palpable. "You know, Mark always had a soft spot for this place. It's where we shared so many memories." A knot twisted in Hannah's stomach as she fought to maintain her composure. "Yes, and now it can serve a greater purpose." "Are you sure you're ready for this, though?" Rachel asked, her voice laced with something almost predatory. "There's a lot of history here, and not all of it is pretty." Hannah's pulse quickened. "I'm aware of that, but I'm not afraid of the past. I want to create something positive." She glanced at Michael, who gave her an encouraging nod. The room was charged with tension, but she refused to back down. "We can honor Mark's memory while also building something new. That's what matters." Rachel's smile faltered for just a moment, revealing a flicker of uncertainty. "I hope you know what you're doing, Hannah. This isn't just a project, it's a legacy." In that moment, Hannah understood that Rachel's interest in the estate was more than just nostalgic. It was a subtle challenge, a reminder that this journey would not be easy. But she couldn't let fear dictate her choices any longer. As they wrapped up the meeting, Hannah felt a sense of camaraderie among her friends. They were rallying behind her, ready to breathe life into the estate and turn it into a sanctuary for everyone. The porch felt alive with laughter and chatter, a stark contrast to the heaviness she had felt only days before. That night, as she sat on the porch and gazed at the stars, she felt a flicker of hope. Thought, "This place is more than just bricks and mortar. It's a canvas for healing." The scent of the pancakes she had prepared earlier lingered in the air, a bittersweet reminder of the life she had shared with Mark. But now, the essence of that love was transforming into something greater. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, including the complicated feelings surrounding Rachel. Little did she know, as she prepared to embrace this new chapter, the past was not finished with her just yet. Hannah clenched her fists. "I don't want to hear any more excuses." Rachel hung his head. "I'm truly sorry." The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm glow over the estate as Hannah stood on the porch, her heart racing. The distant sound of traffic was a stark contrast to the tension brewing within her. Today was the day she would confront the truth about Mark's past, a truth that had been hidden from her for far too long. The community meeting was set to begin, and she could already see familiar faces gathering in the yard, their voices a mix of curiosity and speculation. Hannah took a deep breath, the smell of fresh-cut grass wafting through the air. It felt surreal standing here, a place that had once seemed so perfect, now stained with secrets. As the meeting commenced, Hannah cleared her throat, her hands gripping the sides of the podium. "I want to thank you all for coming. I know this estate has always been a special place for many of you," she began, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "But there are things you need to know about Mark's past, things I only recently discovered." The murmurs in the crowd shifted to a hush as she revealed the details she had uncovered. "Mark had a relationship with a woman named Clara before he met me. It was more than just a fling. They were deeply in love. And, well..." Hannah hesitated, the weight of her next words heavy. "Clara passed away, and it seems Mark never truly let go of her memory." "Oh my God, I can't believe this," someone whispered from the back, and Hannah could feel the judgment in the air, thick and suffocating. She pressed on, determined to honor Mark's memory while still embracing the truth. "He wanted this estate to be a community center, a place for healing and connection. I plan to see that through." As she spoke, a figure emerged from the crowd, stepping onto the porch with an air of authority that sent chills down Hannah's spine. He was tall, with dark hair and piercing eyes that seemed to search her soul. "You don't know the whole story," he said, his voice low and intense. "I'm Mark's cousin, and I have a right to this estate." Hannah's heart sank. "Who are you?" she demanded, holding her ground. "You think you can just waltz in here and claim what belongs to me?" "Mark never mentioned you in his will," the stranger replied, stepping closer. "He left everything to his family, and I'm the rightful heir." "David?" Hannah breathed, suddenly recognizing the familial resemblance. "You're David, aren't you? Mark's long-lost cousin?" The name tasted bitter on her tongue, and she could see the smirk forming on his lips. "Yes, and now I'm here to reclaim what's rightfully mine," he said, his tone dripping with arrogance. "Mark's legacy shouldn't be turned into some community project." Hannah felt a surge of anger. "You don't understand what Mark wanted. He wanted this place to help people, not sit idle while you lay claim to it." "Help people?" David scoffed, crossing his arms. "You're just trying to erase his past. Clara was part of his life, and you think you can just replace that with your community dreams?" "Stop!" Hannah shouted, her voice ringing out across the yard. The crowd watched, eyes wide, sensing the intensity of the confrontation. "You don't know what I've been through. I loved Mark, and I still do. But I won't let you twist his memory to suit your agenda." There was a moment of silence, the air thick with tension. Hannah's resolve began to waver as David's gaze pierced through her, a mix of pity and disdain. "You really think you knew him? You were just a chapter in his life, Hannah. Clara was his heart." Hannah's chest tightened at the accusation. "And what gives you the right to judge me? You disappeared when he needed you most. I was there for him." "Were you?" David shot back, his voice rising. "Or were you just a distraction from the pain of losing Clara?" The crowd murmured again, and Hannah felt the weight of their gazes. The distant traffic hummed in the background, and the world outside felt so far away. "I may not have been perfect, but I honored Mark's memory every day," Hannah said, her voice softer now but firm. "This estate will stand as a tribute to him, to his dreams, and to the community he wanted to create. You can't take that away from me." David's expression flickered, uncertainty creeping into his eyes. "What if I told you I have documents that prove my claim? What if I could show you Mark's true intentions?" Hannah's pulse quickened. "Show me," she said defiantly. "But know this, no matter what you find, you won't erase my love for him. This place is more than just property, it's a legacy of hope. As David turned to leave, the weight of the confrontation hung in the air. Hannah stood tall, a newfound strength filling her as she faced the crowd. Let's work together to honor Mark's memory. He may have had secrets, but we can create something beautiful from the past. The murmurs of agreement washed over her like a wave, and for the first time since stepping into this estate, Hannah felt a glimmer of hope. "Enough!" Hannah shouted, her voice echoing. "Please, let me speak," Rachel pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," Hannah finalized. The sun hung low in the sky as Hannah stood in the backyard of the community center, a gentle breeze rustling the fresh grass beneath her feet. The scent of BBQ wafted through the air, mingling with the laughter of children playing nearby. Today marked the grand opening of the center, a transformation of the estate that had once been shrouded in secrets, and she could hardly believe how far she had come since discovering Mark's will. As she looked around, memories flooded her mind. The laughter of her friends, the conversations filled with hope, and the shared meals that had become a tapestry of healing after the shock of Mark's hidden life. "I never imagined this place could bring so much joy," she murmured to herself, her heart swelling with pride and bittersweet nostalgia. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was moments away, and she spotted Michael, her loyal friend, weaving through the crowd. A beaming smile on his face. "Hannah, this is incredible!" he exclaimed, the excitement in his voice contagious. "You did it! You turned this place into something beautiful!" "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," Hannah replied, her heart racing. "It feels like a dream, but it's also so real." She took a deep breath, letting the moment sink in. The birds chirped overhead, their melodies a sweet reminder of life moving forward. As the crowd gathered, Hannah took her place at the podium. She glanced out at the sea of familiar faces, friends, neighbors, and even a few strangers who had come to celebrate the new beginning. Among them was Rachel, Mark's first love, who had stood by her side through the tumultuous journey of understanding Mark's past. Their bond had blossomed into a friendship rooted in shared grief and healing. "Hannah, I want to say a few words," Rachel called, stepping forward with a confidence that surprised Hannah. "Of course, please," Hannah said. Stepping aside, Rachel took a deep breath, her eyes sparkling with unshed tears. "This place isn't just about Mark's legacy, it's about all of us coming together to support one another. It's a reminder that love can be complicated, but it can also lead to beautiful transformations." As Rachel spoke, Hannah felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She had never expected to find solace in the very woman who had once been a ghost of her husband's past. The ceremony concluded with applause, the sound echoing in her ears as she stepped off the podium. Michael wrapped her in a warm embrace, whispering, "You've done an amazing job, Hannah. You've turned pain into purpose." "Thank you," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. "But I still need to visit Clara's grave. I need to say goodbye properly and leave her something special." The weight of loss still hung over her, but now it was intertwined with hope. Later that afternoon, Hannah made her way to the cemetery, the sun setting in a golden glow. She knelt before Clara's grave, the cool earth grounding her as she placed the delicate locket there, an emblem of forgiveness. "I'm sorry for everything," she whispered, her heart heavy with the complexities of love and loss. Just as she stood to leave, a thought struck her. What if Clara had known all along? What if she had held the secrets of Mark's heart? Hannah felt a sudden pang of connection, a realization that perhaps they had all been tangled in the same web of love and sorrow. With a final glance back, she whispered, "I hope you can forgive us both." The fresh grass swayed gently in the wind, and for the first time, she felt a flicker of peace settle in her heart. As she returned to the community center, the BBQ smoke curled into the sky, a reminder of all the lives intertwining in this moment. She stepped into the backyard, laughter ringing in her ears, and allowed herself to embrace the new path ahead. In that moment, Preserve the original language of the text, woven from the threads of joy and pain. The estate that had once been a symbol of betrayal had transformed into a beacon of hope and connection for the community. "Can you believe how far we've come?" she said to Michael, who stood beside her, his eyes bright with pride. "Not just us, Hannah. Everyone here has a story to tell," he replied, his gaze sweeping across the gathering. The evening air filled with warmth, and as the last light of day faded, Hannah felt a sense of belonging she had long yearned for. "Life is about the connections we make and the love we share," she reflected, her heart swelling with purpose. "My husband's will mentioned a property I never knew existed. When I went there, I discovered who he really was. And you, on your porch, what hidden truths are waiting to be uncovered in your life?" Hannah took a deep breath, her heart still racing as she absorbed the atmosphere around her. The laughter of children echoed in the distance, punctuated by the sizzling sounds of the BBQ grill. She felt a sense of purpose swell within her, the realization dawning that she had become part of something much larger than herself. "Are you ready for the next chapter?" Michael asked, his voice tinged with curiosity. "I think so," she replied, her gaze drifting toward the horizon where the sun dipped lower, casting hues of orange and pink across the sky. "But I still have questions, so many questions." "About Mark?" he probed gently, understanding her struggle. "Yeah," she admitted, the weight of his absence creeping back into her thoughts. "I wish I could ask him why he kept so much hidden. Did he really think it was better this way?" Michael placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Sometimes people don't know how to share their truths. It's messy and complicated." She nodded, processing his words. "I understand that now. I just hope I can honor him while also moving forward." As the evening drew on, the sound of music began to fill the backyard, and Hannah felt the infectious energy of celebration. "Let's dance!" she exclaimed, pulling Michael toward the makeshift dance floor. "Are you sure? I'm not the best dancer," he chuckled, a hint of reluctance in his voice. "Neither am I, but that's the point. We're here to celebrate," she laughed, twirling around him, her spirit lifting with every movement. With a little coaxing, Michael joined her, and soon they were laughing and swaying to the rhythm, the worries of the past momentarily forgotten. The community members joined in, creating a vibrant circle filled with laughter and joy. In that moment, as she danced, Hannah felt Clara's spirit wrap around her like a warm embrace. It was as if Clara were telling her that it was okay to let go of the pain, to embrace the connections she had fostered. "Look at us!" Michael shouted over the music, his face beaming. "This is what it's all about, Hannah!" "Yes!" she shouted back, her heart soaring as she realized that the tapestry of her life was being rewoven, each thread stronger and more vibrant than before. The stars began to twinkle above, and she closed her eyes, letting the music and the love of those around her wash over her. She was ready to embrace the future, whatever it held.